before the invention of time, before the invention of space, before the invention of you, of me, before the invention of us, we, they. There was Nope Island. Nope had a lot of nothing on it. A very peaceful place. No sand to burn your toes. No sun above to even heat the non-existent sand. No water surrounding the non-existent sand that was not hot from the non-existent sun above. It was quite a beautiful place to not be. Not a single human being for miles. In fact, there was not even a single mile in a single mile for a human being to be. No one to catcall women as they walked down the street. No one to yell racial slurs at anyone of a different race. There was not even races to be seen on any of the non-existent miles on the non-existent sand that was not heated by the non-existent sun up above. There were no animals to wake you in the morning with their caws or barks or meows. There were no humans of any race to hunt the non-existent animals that did not live on the non-existent sand that was not heated by the non-existent sun up above. There was not a single tree on any of the non-existent miles of non-existent sand that was not heated by the non-existent sun up above. There was not a single fruit growing on any of the non-existent trees for any of the non-existent people or the non-existent animals to eat on any of the non-existent miles of non-existent sand that was not heated by the non-existent sun up above. There was no moon or stars to shine at night. In fact, there was no nighttime or daytime on the non-existent sand which bared no fruits on any of the non-existent trees on any of the non-existent miles of any of the non-existent sand that was not heated by the non-existent sun up above. There was no air for the non-existent humans and non-existent animals to breathe on any of the non-existent sand that was not heated by the non-existent sun up above. There was no heaven and no hell on any of the non-existent miles of any of the non-existent sand which bared no trees for non-existent fruit to be eaten by non-existent humans or non-existent animals. Because there was no God, no Satan, no heaven, and no hell, there was no sin to take place by the non-existent people on any of the non-existent miles of non-existent sand that was not heated by the non-existent sun up above. Because there was no sin, no God, no Satan, no heaven, and no hell on any of the non-existent miles of non-existent sand, there was nothing to judge the non-existent humans for. Nothing at all on those non-existent miles of non-existent sand that was not heated by the non-existent sun up above. Then one day out of nowhere came a speck. That speck multiplied itself and that speck became the sand. That speck became the trees. That speck became the fruit on the trees on the sand. That speck became the sun up above that now heated all the miles of sand which now bared fruit on the trees. That speck became animals to eat the fruits of the trees on the miles of sand that was now heated by the sun up above. That speck became the water for the animals to drink after eating the fruits on the trees on the miles of sand which was now heated by the sun up above. That speck became the moon, the stars, and the night to help cool down the water that laid around the miles of sand which bared trees which bared fruit for all the animals to eat on all the miles of sand which was now heated by the sun up above. Then that speck did the most dangerous of all things. That speck created humans to hunt the animals that lived on the miles of sand which bared trees which bared fruits which were on the sand that was now heated by the sun up above. Then the humans, not the speck, created God. The humans, not the speck, created heaven and hell. The humans, not the speck, created sin. The humans, not the speck, created judgment of the other humans. Then the humans, not the speck, created war. The speck created everything in miles for the humans to be great creatures, but the humans had different plans. The humans wanted to kill off anyone who sinned by the laws of their God that they created. The humans took control of the sand which once bared trees which once bared fruits which once was on the miles of sand that was once heated by the sun up above and made that sand a wasteland. The humans took that wasteland and prayed to their God for the sins of others hoping that one day they would be saved and the trees would grow back on the sand that was once heated by the sun up above. The humans started with everything and then had nothing. The humans died off because of their own greed which was one of the sins of the God they created. Were the humans in heaven or hell? The humans were nowhere. The sand was nowhere. The sun was nowhere. There was nothing once again. And within that nothing was great peace. Peace and hope.